All right, we are live. Hello, everyone out there in internet land. Welcome to another Hangout with Team in the Black, where we help aspiring entrepreneurs such as yourself create a profitable business online. I'm joined tonight by some lovely people on the panel here. My name is Matt Dillingham. I'm joined by my friends Rob Hernandez. Say hello, Rob. Awesome.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing out there?
Joined
Kamabu.
also by my friend Max Uhas.
What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Hope you're enjoying this wonderful evening, and thank you for sharing it with us. We've got some wonderful nuggets set up for you. Hope you got your notebook and open your mind to some great things because we're about to blow it up.
Awesome. And here with John Newton, aka the Godfather of Traffic.
Hey everyone, welcome. I'm glad you all made it tonight, and it's like -5 degrees at my house, so I hope you guys are all snuggled up warm and ready to absorb lots of great things because we have some great guests speaking tonight. So looking forward to it, and I've got some great thoughts. So you guys sit tight after we're done with Nikki and Abram, and we'll talk about a couple of things that I learned about this weekend too. So should be fun.
Cool. And we get here with my boy Evan Fresco and his lovely girlfriend Erica. How you guys doing tonight?
We're doing good. It's glad to see another power couple out there because we're trying to be the power couple of ITB here, and but I'm stoked, man. I'm seeing everyone posting about the Klaatu blog, and I'm just excited about that. I cannot wait for that thing to come out so that we're cranking out blogs, in less than 10 minutes, even 20 minutes. And if it was faster than that, that's even better. But, yeah, there's going to be some good stuff tonight, and I'm excited.
Awesome. And last but definitely not least is our special guest tonight, Abram and Nikki. How you guys doing?
Well, we're muted, but we're here. What's up?
Good.
We're staying warm.
I hope so. If it's -5 and where you're at, I couldn't do it. I would just move. That's me personally, though.
We have another special guest with us. Let me just get him real quick, okay? Show him.
The whole family. The whole family's gonna listen hang out.
Staying warm too.
He has his.
It's the dog. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Inch poodle.
That dog looks warmer than you guys.
and he has a very nice coat. It's plush. He's
I think it's Sherlin Pink.
Zeus, right? Some of you guys know Zeus, but he's like, the funny thing about him is
buddy.
he made a really good choice coming into this world because he's like, I'm gonna choose a mom and dad who make a lot of money and can stay at home and just take good care of me. Like, this dog is spoiled in a good way, right? He gets all the things that like dogs should get,
Right.
And
He's very well behaved. I mean, he's a pretty disciplined little guy.
he's got food all over his face right now because no, it's not for eating. Because I don't know, bulldogs, they're just like,
So he's a
I mean,
French
they're
bulldog.
called bulldogs for a reason because they're messy, just like all up in his face. But anyway, enough about the dog. We're excited to be here.
Wow, gotta love the dog. Set stable with you guys. But yeah, I remember I first met you guys back in January at the Miami event. That was awesome. And before then, I had heard of you guys through an Empower Network, Inner Circle Audio. You guys had done, I think it was over a year ago or so. Let me know if I'm correct me if I'm wrong on this. And you guys talked about, I think you had a market on YouTube. Abram, you guys had met that way. And I know you guys are doing very well because you're all about teaching about success, mindset of success, the abundance mindset, transformation, and you're very big on doing Facebook marketing for free and all that. So that's a little bit about what you guys are what you're gonna get tonight. So definitely take notes. And Nikki and Abram, welcome. Thank you very much again. Take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited to share some of these strategies with your team, with all the amazing people who are on here. Thank you for being here. Half of success is showing up. So I'm really excited for all the people who are here. Maybe there's some new people who haven't had a chance to connect with us yet. But yeah, you know, we I don't know how far back do we want to go, Abram? Because I'm like, Facebook, we've made 6 figures with Facebook. Like, I'm all excited about that. How far back where should we start?
Well, when we first started doing business online, you know, we made a decision to become entrepreneurs a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
She comes from like the healing arts and that sort of like a solopreneur background. I come from, you know, teaching people how to do social media because I kind of learned it myself along the way. And we both just started out pretty broke, which I think is where almost everybody starts. You know, it seems like more often than not, everybody has like whenever somebody has like a rich story, it's usually a rags to riches sort of story. So we won't go into like that whole thing because it's like we've been there, and that's part of the reason that we chose Facebook as our main marketing strategy back in the day was because, you know, we really didn't have any other options. Like we couldn't. There was no extra money to pay for paid traffic. You know, it's like when you're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like 2 times a day, 5 days a week, which is like way more peanut butter and jelly than anybody should have, you know, unless they're like in elementary school. You know, that doesn't really give any options to put extra stuff together. So we just you know, worked with what we had. I read books like Crush It from Gary Vaynerchuk that just got me turned on and inspired just about social media and the fact that, you know, you can reach so many people through free marketing methods and especially Facebook. My favorite part about Facebook is and I met on Facebook initially, right? You want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I'll just quickly say, like, the combination that is that, you know, you've had this background where you've read books. I didn't have a marketing background, but by being so much into self-growth, spirituality, transformation, I was able to communicate with myself on a deeper level. Like, I was just more connected to myself. I have had this strong sense of who I am for years now. And, you know, this is actually just one marketing tip off the bat. It's like, if you want to become a great marketer, you have to be a great communicator. If you want to be a great communicator, you have to be in deep contact with yourself. The deeper, the better. The more intimate, you know, intimacy you have with yourself, the more emotionally connected people will feel to you. And really, that's what gets people to make a decision. I'm not into like, well, I want people to feel this emotion, so they'll buy. You know, there's that sort of tactical approach. Like, I'm just going to be honest and transparent. You know, I can appreciate learning about that kind of stuff, but I'm not. That's not what I base my marketing on. So because I had that sort of, you could say gift, but it's just something that I cultivated in myself. Cultivating my intuition and the ability to communicate with people on a different level, that made me a natural marketer on social media. So that's something that I just, you know, you mentioned, hey, you know, they're into transformation and self-growth. There's a reason for that, because we can finally say the proof is in the pudding and in the results and in the numbers, and numbers don't lie. And that's that we've done all this transformation and all the stuff that we teach that's more on the energetic level, on the subtle levels, is what has created, you know, almost $300,000 in income generated from 97% free. I mean, almost 100% completely free marketing on Facebook. So, what did you want me to go back to? Because how we met.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is okay. So yeah, really quick. You know, I was actually dating one of Abram's friends.
More like an acquaintance. More like an acquaintance.
Before everybody gets all up in arms about the bro code.
Oh, really?
Exactly. Oh snap, right? Yeah. So I was dating this guy, and like Abram said, they weren't like best bros, best friends, hang out every day. But hey, you know, I'll come to your workshop. Hey, you know, I might come to your birthday party in a group of people. Like, you guys didn't really like hang out one-on-one, but regardless, you could say that they were friends. Now, before you get all upset again, people, you know, I knew that Abram liked me. So okay, I saw a video on the guy. I'm gonna call him John. His name's not John, but John's wall. Okay, I see this video. This guy doing this thing called Inspiraction, where he did a brand new video. him doing something brand new every single day
That I'd never done before.
that he'd never done before
On video.
on video. So he did this video, this vlog for an entire year. And I saw this video and I thought, this guy seems really cool. Like, I'd love to just connect with him, you know? And so we start chatting, and he says to me, like, what's the line that you dropped? I mean,
It was just, social media game. You know what I mean? It's like, I know how to close them in the inbox, and so she's laughing because I never talk like this.
he's just playing.
I
He's
just
playing
play,
it up, yeah.
But because really, what we're gonna share with you, we actually don't really close people in the inbox, but I know how to. All I'm saying is I know how to.
Right.
But no, I said something really silly. I was like, I believe that social media friends can be like real friends.
Yeah, I don't just
I don't just friend people up that I have no intention of meeting at some point.
So I think we should meet, And so we actually met up, and the sort of premise was that he was going to do some video editing for me, and I was going to give him one of my coaching sessions. And so we kind of started as friends because, going back to the bro code, I was like, I don't know how close they are, but I don't even want to mess with that. Like, I knew he liked me. I kind of liked him. And hey, just for the record, the guy that I was dating wasn't exactly committal. So... But I still have that kind of loyalty, and I'm like, I just don't even want to go there. So a couple months went by, and this actually pertains to what we're talking about tonight, which is abundance, right? So questions are really powerful, and we've said this every time we've gone on stage. We've talked about asking questions. So I had actually got to a point where I was looking at, do I want to be in this relationship? Do I not want to be in this relationship? And we were actually going, this guy John was a life coach, and we went to his workshop together. And at that point, Abram found out. I finally told him, hey, I'm dating your friend John, And Abram's heart sank to the floor.
It's true.
And he looked up, before going to sleep that night, he looked up at the sky, to the universe, and just got quiet. And he said, do you want to ask the question?
What would it take for that to end and for me to get my chance?
So the next day, we go to this workshop together, the guy that I'm dating, his workshop that he's hosting, facilitating, and this girl comes up to me, and she's got tears in her eyes. And she goes, I've known John for like 3 years now, and I love him, and I know that you guys are dating, but I just have to tell you, like, if he's not giving you everything that you want, like, you're so awesome and amazing, like, you should run the other way. And, I just feel like I need to tell you that he's dating other women at the same time, and he's going out to the clubs and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm crying out in the hallway. John sees me and flips out, and he's like, no. You just brought down the high that I had during teaching my workshop. He's a little bit of a narcissist. And he dumped me over the phone that night within 24 hours of Abram asking that question.
Damn. Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
The universe rearranged itself pretty quickly there, didn't it?
Very quickly. Very quickly.
Hey, when there's an opening,
yeah,
and you ask, you get it pretty quickly.
That's the caveat. It's like you can't wish for people to break up. You don't want to be that creepy dude. You know what I'm saying? But it was the alignment was there. The alignment was there for him to put it out there. I was already like, I don't know about this. And the universe was also ready to show me that the guy that I was with wasn't right for me. He was our first season. And now Abram and I are engaged.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been engaged for a couple weeks now, and things are just amazing. So thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations, guys. I didn't know that. That's cool. Good job.
Yeah, congrats.
Let's see the ring.
My
The
ring,
Empower ring. No.
Yeah.
but our rings actually, his says to infinity.
Nice. Yours says to be and beyond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously?
Awesome right here. That's awesome.
Because that's really like our intention for our relationship is that kind of infinite growth and expansion. Because when you can bring, a lot of people in relationships, and this might seem like we're going off topic, but we're really not, because relationships are everything. And even in business, you have relationships, and especially in a business like Empower Network, you're no longer like compartmentalized, and your business is completely separate. You go to your 9 to 5, and it's like, and then you have your friends. It's like all kind of mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
So what was I going to say about that? Relationships.
Well, if it comes to you,
Yeah.
then it comes to you, and you can just jump back in. But
Yeah.
like, what I was going to offer is, I know we
Yeah.
have another power couple
Yes.
on here tonight, and I think it's important for everybody to know that when you're doing business together and you get in
Right.
business with your business, you both have to be on the same page, right?
Yeah.
I talk about like your business as its own sort of entity, as its own sort of person, because it really is. Right? You give birth to it, it has a life of its own, and you have to teach it and give it the tools that it requires to flourish, right? We talk a lot about like automated and passive income. The reason that that's possible is because when you learn how to treat your business as if it's its own being, then it does become possible. So my whole point in explaining this is like when Nikki and I got together, we sort of made a deal.
Mm-hmm.
We made a deal when we got together. You're very clear from the beginning.
Yes.
It's like some of our terms for our relationship, they're similar for the terms that we have like in our friendships, in business and everything else. But it's like, okay, we promise that we will always grow. Period. Right?
Yeah.
It's like no matter how she grows, if she grows, I'll be happy. When she grows, I'm happy. It's an expansion, right? Like life and consciousness is always like in an expansion. And the only time that life ever sucks, if you notice the times that like the worst times you had in your entire life, they're when you weren't growing, when you weren't learning, when you weren't going through new experiences.
Right.
Stagnant.
Right. And so that's like one of the main deals that we always had together. It's like, look, you continue growing, I'd love to spend the rest of my life with you. And she said, yeah, same thing for me. You continue growing, let's spend the rest of my life with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other things. Right, but that's like one of the main bases of what we have together, and then what we have with our business too. Right? It's like our business expects us, just like our French Bulldog expects us to feed it every day. We feed it with good vibes, marketing material, by working on ourselves and our own mindset, or our own personal abundance. Right? We're doing all these things to contribute to it. And sometimes it asks you, is literally calling out to you, send an email. Buy this, what? It's like telling you. And when you listen, that's like when the magic happens, right? I mentioned earlier, like you ask a question at the right time, it happens. And the same thing's true with your business. If you're always listening to what it's asking you to do, you always make decisions that will take you where you want to go.
I think what you said is actually what I wanted to say. Is it's the way that we look at business is from a very holistic perspective, and even our social media, it's like I want, even if that person that I'm talking to or commenting with, or just having a back and forth on a thread, maybe there's somebody that I won't meet in person, but there's still somebody that I want to have a connection with that makes their life more expanded, expands their life and their business in some way. So just with that intention, like it's a huge part of what creates, a huge following and people being really engaged in what you're doing, and that does equal sales. It does equal sales.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to share some stuff that would help you grow your Facebook following, would help you get more engagement on your posts, would eventually lead to more leads and sales in your business, would that be something that would be helpful?
Definitely would.
All day long.
What about
Absolutely.
comments? What about in the comments below? Some of our viewers, people that are hanging out with us right now. What about you guys and gals?
Yeah. What do you want to learn, or what
Yeah.
are you hungry for tonight?
That, or like some more mindset and abundance stuff. If you want to know, like, the sort of mindset and the big, like, defining moments that helped us go from living in a 2-bedroom, 850 square foot house filled with mold to living in this 6 foot home, 6 foot home, 3,000 square foot home 5 months later. Like, that could be one thing, right? The other thing could be like getting into some of the Facebook tips and tricks, the stuff that's allowed us to grow like a really big following and do business on there. And then yeah, A or B. Maybe we'll do them both. But which one do you want first? What about you guys in the panel?
What would you say the percentage of your success is based upon? More so the mindset or the actual, action that you're taking with the engagement of learning this, the things that you need to do online, whether it be Facebook marketing and any other kind of PPC? Is it the mindset that really is like the initial start of your success and basically pushes you in the direction where you need to go as far as implementing what you need to do as far as what you're learning?
I think you almost just, it was a brilliant question, and you almost like said it in the question in a way, like everything starts with energy. And even the thoughts that you have, this is from my perspective, that the thoughts that you have are actually an interpretation of energy. Because if you look at like accessing the subconscious mind through hypnotherapy or all kinds of different modalities that are out there, where people really transform their lives, it's almost like pre-thoughts, pre-lingual, pre-verbal. So, as far as the mindset, harnessing the energy that you want to harness is number one. And following that with thought, actually, and then the action. I mean, and I actually think in some ways it's not linear. If you're really wanting to get a deeper answer from me, I'll say this, that you got to be in the question of what is required right now, and just constantly be living in that question of what's required from me right now in order to make X, Y, and Z happen. Because sometimes you're so caught, and I've been in this place, I'm just going to be real and honest, where, I sat on my couch meditating, and Dave Wood makes fun of these kind of people. And I was one of those kind of people. I sat there meditating, and that cultivated a certain part of me. But I didn't know what actions to take because I didn't have the incredible system and structure that we have to play with Empower Network. That was one thing. I was kind of spinning my wheels a lot when it came to like being a solopreneur and creating my own business in a sustainable way. But I just got spaced out and lost my train of thought. Sometimes I get so, like, as a child, I was actually kind of autistic, and a lot of people think like autistic people are slow, but it's actually that they're moving so fast in their thoughts that they almost can't catch up with themselves when they're talking.
Yeah, they're just way faster than everybody else.
Yeah, so like I'm getting like so many downloads at once, and I'm actually listening and asking what do they require the most. So sometimes it like jams the circuits a little bit. But where was I? What did I want to say along with that? I don't know.
I don't know where you're going.
What is required of me right now at this moment? I think that was like probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard said by any human being in any given moment in time ever. I don't know. If you haven't quoted that already, you need to. I might just jack it.
What's required of me right now?
Yeah, what's required of me right now? And the thing is that abundance is not linear. So, when the rain pours, like sometimes a lot of times it pours in different directions, So when approaching your business, and I know this is really challenging for people, I think a lot of people want the next ninja strategy, the next tactic, the quick button, and I think it's actually part of our societal programming and the media and all this stuff that's being reinforced through, celebrity, fame, all that stuff, like actually makes people, just want the lottery kind of thing. And, it's easy to want to grasp for straws when you are in a place where you're broke or you're struggling. You don't know if you're going to pay your electric bill next month, and you're like, if I could just get this like quick thing, somebody just showed me that. But how do I just get, 5,000 leads overnight? Then all my problems will be solved. And it's like, we've just found, and not only through ourselves, but through watching many people, that it just doesn't work that way. And the people that rely on, like, they try to get, like, the quick fix, the quick fix doesn't last for, even if they're able to grasp that straw and that Facebook strategy or whatever, the black hat, technique, those things don't last. They oftentimes burn out very quickly, and then they're left on the other side of that not knowing how to market, not knowing how to create abundance. So if you get the sort of energy of abundance from within yourself, you become the source, and that to me is true empowerment. That to me is true empowerment. You're not, when something, falls off or something changes, you're not defined by that. Because no matter how much money you make, it sucks to be defined by your bank account. And that's why no matter whether you have $300,000 in your bank or $0 in your bank, you have to, and there are people with lots of money that actually feel like crap about themselves. You know what I mean? So to me, true abundance is a state of well-being as well. And that's why I would say that, when it comes to this kind of business, because you can like invent some kind of new kind of Scotch tape or something, and maybe no matter what, you hustle and you get, you go on Shark Tank or something, like if you have a product, like a physical product that people need on a massive scale, like you can hustle, make it happen. You can hustle, make it happen no matter what. But I think with this kind of business, you have the opportunity to transform yourself, and your money flows at the same time, and why not take that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, you've heard it before, like your income grows in proportion to the way that you do, right? And the value that you share with the world. And so I think of every time that we get on a hangout and listen to people that have what we would like to have. When I read a good book, listen to an audio, have a great conversation with somebody that lifts us up, I consider that sort of like filling the bank account, filling like the emotional, spiritual, intellectual bank account, right? And I can take that energy and go do stuff with it, right? So it's like we can get on the hangout like we are right now. Like we could talk for a few hours. Like we used to do workshops that were 8 hours long, free flow workshops, and we could talk all day, right? Mm-hmm. It's easy when you're always filling yourself with information and you have a wealth of information to draw from. People saw what we did with Empower, and sure, it's like our first rodeo, like in network marketing. Never done like full-blown internet marketing. I think the most that we made online before joining Empower Network was, I don't know, a couple $100 here and there, honestly. We both sort of launched our own like personal development geared classes before joining Empower. She had like a almost 5-figure launch. I had a 5-figure launch for a class that we did, but that was 3 years in the making. Mm-hmm. Right, like most times you see people like come on stage or get in front of you in a hangout, and you're like, wow, like holy shit, like they came out of nowhere, and it's like, yeah, it came out of nowhere because you didn't see the whole time that we were buried under the ground beneath like 1,000 tons of rocks, creeping our way up to the surface, just trying to find the light.
Right.
And
that was required at that time. So it's like, going back to that question of what is required right now. Sometimes people I see a lot of times either one of two things happening. Two things happening when people come to me and they're like, I'm stuck. And that's either there's something going on with the energy, and under that umbrella is beliefs and thought forms and all that kind of stuff, or it's in the category of action, which also involves non-action. So I see people who take lots of action, and they're blogging, and they're doing this, and they're doing this, and they're putting out ads, and like nothing is happening. And I can sort of look at them and be like, okay, so, what belief about money are you holding on to? Or what belief about this business are you holding on to? Or, I go into a sort of inquiry with them. I don't, just putting that out there for anybody watching, I don't do that stuff for free. So please don't, I love you all. And, if you're going to message me, be prepared that I will send you a PayPal link and tell you to pull out your credit card and pay for that session. So, Abram and I spent over $20,000. People think getting all in is a lot of money, and it's like we spent over $20,000 to get certified in a coaching modality because we were so dedicated to transforming our money, because we both had a lot of baggage around money, and we're like, we gotta change this stuff if we're gonna. We have this vision, of being entrepreneurs and doing big things in the world. So, that's what it took. We had to spend over $20,000 to get, not only the certifications, but to get the knowledge and information, which, now we're sharing with others in our own way.
Well, we took the money that we could have spent
Right.
on video games, eating out, going to, a sports
3 days
game,
to Cancun or something.
all that BS, right?
Right.
Like, I sold my freaking Xbox when I got out of college because I was losing money. Keep going.
Yeah, so I don't even remember what I was saying, actually.
Well, you were just talking about we invested a lot of time, energy, and money,
Right.
everything that we had.
Oh, yeah, so it's like, that to me was addressing the energetic piece. Like, what are you willing to invest in yourself to get clear whatever baggage you need to clear, heal whether it's your mom, your dad, your family, society, whatever junk people put on you that doesn't allow you to show up as you and as the abundant version of you and what you want to create. Like just kind of ask yourself, what am I willing to do for that? Because I was at a point, we were both at a point, like, willing to do whatever it takes. And that's the mindset you need for the Empower Network business too. So when Empower came along, we transferred that over. And the reason we did have such rapid success is because of now Empower has a lot of great products for, like, in the inner circle and stuff, for, you're clearing your own blockages and choosing more and that kind of stuff. But we did $20,000. That's $100 a month. We did $20,000 worth of that stuff, before we even got in. So, a lot of people who are successful here, I'm just going to be real. Either they've, done some level of marketing, or they did no level of marketing, but they did a lot of self-development.
Yep.
And so, again, going back to either it's energy, action, or inaction, some people, are doing lots of stuff, spin their wheels, and they need to address, maybe that's what's required right now. Like, what audio do I need to listen to? Who do I need to talk to? What resource do I need right now in order to move past these blockages? Now, that doesn't mean you stop taking action. Now, then there's the flip side where you're caught up in mental masturbation about your issues. I just have an infinite amount of problems, and that's where we get into, like, excuse realm, right? Now I think it's cliche. I think people have had excuses, making excuses kind of ring down their throats a little bit, So, but I'm just gonna talk about it in terms of, like, getting caught up in the mental, getting caught up in the emotion. So if you're too caught up, like, if I'm too, like, emotional about something, I'll go outside for a walk. Like, I'm in Colorado, it's really beautiful out here. I'll move my body, So that's another tip, is, like, when you're stuck, go and do something physical for your business or actually with your body.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that kind of, when I talk about what's required right now, that's my expansion on that. I mean, I could talk about it all day, but I won't. So
that's the long, and I think justified answer for your question, Rob. It's like one of my favorite things to talk about, is like what goes into building a business, a successful business. Like, what's more important,
mm-hmm.
right? Well, they're both important. You can't build it without one, right? You need both the action and, like, the mindset and the energy. You can't build one without the other one, but we're firm believers that the mindset came first. It's like personal development and spiritual transformation are really important to us. It's the thing
mm-hmm.
that really got us to where we are now, and that we know will get us to, like, that next level, right? That 7-figure mark that we're shooting for. It's like what worked to get us here is going to continue working. And when it comes down to what we do as marketers, sure, we've learned a lot over the years, but when I look at what we utilize on a day-to-day basis to build our business,
mm-hmm.
it's a drop in the pond versus the stuff that the tools and the things that we've learned that we use to work here.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, great answer. I mean, everything that I've read, I do a lot of reading as well, and listening to audios, all the success gurus you can think of. And I mean, one of the main constants that I've noticed from what I'm getting from what you guys are saying, it's it's really that incessant stream of thought that you got running through your head on a daily basis, and identifying with that, and that's what holds so many people back. Because it brings up those fears of past experiences that you've gone through in your life, and it creates a it makes you feel as though, you know, you're a certain way when you're really not. So you identify with that completely. And when you do that, you're not able to focus on the things that you need to do on a daily basis, those action, you know, your daily action steps that you need to take to create any kind of wealth or success in any business, really, or even if it's, you know, working out. It really doesn't matter what it is. You know, you have to get past those emotions. And when you're able to really control your emotions and externalize that the proper way, you know, you start to see a lot more success in your life. And that's what I've noticed personally in the past few years of my life. I mean, I've experienced a huge transformation in my life. So I think that's really good that you touched on that.
Yeah, you know, and Nikki talked a lot about, you know, your relationship to money. I don't know if she used the words like receiving money. I think you did a few times. One of the things that we see happen a lot, and again, we're sort of just like pulling from the awareness that we're getting. Like, we're asking questions in our heads right now. Like, what do you guys require? What do the viewers require? So like, we're just kind of going off of that and just feed. That's kind of how we roll. But people always ask the question like, well, how do you get to like that next level of financial success? And when we didn't have, you know, two pennies to rub together, so to speak, like she had, when we met, she was always getting negative bank balances. You know, I was having to like, you know, ask my dad if he could pay me a day early from the dry cleaner so I could pay down my debt. Like, crazy stuff when we first met. And we had to sort of like dig ourselves out of a hole. And I know what it feels like to feel like the walls are crashing in around you and that there's literally no way out. Like, you literally cannot see how it could be possible, A, to like invest in a new business, right, and B, like get a promotion or have a good break, or like, you know what I mean? Like you physically can't see it. Like, all you sense is like an underlying theme of dread in everything that you're going through in life. And like, that was us for a few years. Yep. One thing that we always tell people about what we did and then what you can do to switch that around, it's not about thinking frou-frou, you know, woo-woo wonder thoughts. You know what I mean? It's like, you can try to brainwash yourself, but when you look at your bank account and it says, and it's not in the black, right? It's in the red. Right, you guys are in the black, right? It's in the red. You're like,
that's laughing.
Right? You're like, fuck, you know. And it's like, it doesn't matter how many affirmations and things that you tell yourself to try to get yourself out of it. The reality is, you look at your bank account and you're still screwed.
Yeah, that's where actually like we could use, spiritual tools against ourselves. It actually can be a little bit damaging when you're in the red and you're going, I'm abundant. But like inside, you just want to be like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, it's because it's one thing to do it on a conscious level and an unconscious level. So
yeah, and also that you're putting those affirmations on top of a pile of poo. You know what I mean? Like, you actually heard. Yeah, you're trying to deny how you actually feel, because in order for you to have all that sort of anger and the drama, whatever that stuff is, you know, it's like when you don't acknowledge that and you don't just let yourself be with it, it's because it's like you're trying to run away from your own judgments, you know what I mean? And the moment you just kind of drop in and stop running away from it and kind of go, okay, let me just be with, you got to get to that space where you can like be with it and make it okay that you're, because I think a lot of people get afraid of negative thinking in a superstitious kind of way. Like, I said, oh shit, one time with a lot of emotions, and that means I'm going to attract more, so I need to like keep saying this affirmation over and over and over again. It becomes an obsessive mental kind of thing, and that's not where I found people to have most of the transformation.
It's not where you find peace.
It's not where you find peace. So you have to find a place of peace within yourself if you're in that situation. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I just kind of want to close the loop on this one. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah. It's like, so if you want to transform this stuff, I don't know if it's going to be 3 steps or 2 steps or whatever, but just listen. So here it is, right? Nikki touched on the first one. I'm glad she brought it up. You have to stop judging yourself for the situation that you're in financially. So you have to stop making yourself bad and wrong. Like, there is nothing bad or wrong about being poor. It's just the state that you're in right now. It's the state that you're choosing.
Conscious choices.
It's not good, bad, right, or wrong, right? It's just a number in the bank account. And like Nikki said earlier, it's like one of the worst things that you can do is identify yourself by the number of the bank account. It's like is the number of the bank account really an indication of the value of you? No. It's an indicator, but does it dictate the value of you? No. Right? That's why like you can have a huge transformation and your bank account can explode overnight. I want to finish.
I want to value yourself.
Yeah. But I want to finish before I forget. Okay, so you can't judge yourself. And the second thing is, and this is the one that like really challenges people, is you have to stop making choices based on the number in the bank account. Right? Because if you want to go beyond the bank account, you have to make choices that go beyond the bank account. If I put that a different way, it's like every choice that you've made up until now has created the number in the bank account right now. Right? So would it make sense that you would have to make some sort of different choices and different decisions in your life to change that? Yeah. Right? So I don't know exactly what I can't think of an example of what some of those choices are, but perhaps it was like, oh, here's a great one. Like, getting all in with Empower Network, right? Which I think everybody needs to do that's serious about this business, right? If you're like watching and you're already a part of Empower Network, you need to be all in if you'd like to be successful here. It's just kind of like part of the game. So sometimes there's a struggle in coming up with the money to invest in yourself, invest in your education, right? Or go to a seminar, or buy a new piece of equipment for your business, like whatever it is. Like there's always these things that come up that when you look at the bank account, the money is not there to do it. But you know, right? You know that that's what's required, right? Nikki asks this question all the time, right? What's required of me right now to get that result? You know what you need to do. It's up to you to find out how to connect the pieces. So when it comes to getting all in, when we first got in the business, like we didn't have all the resources to do it, right? We were close, really close, closer than most people I think are that are super struggling and getting into this business, right? We still had to bridge that gap and come up with the extra income to make it happen. So what did we do? We chose to get all in before we even clicked the button. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like, okay, so I see that Rob, man, you guys are all nodding, right? So it's like you can choose something even before the resources show up.
Yeah.
Right? And when you choose something on every level of your being, through your cells and through everything, that's when the universe is like, okay, let's start putting some things into place. When you choose it, you'll start seeing the signals and things that show up that are required of you in order to get you to that space of where you'd like to go. Yeah. So sometimes, you never know. Like, I love what Chris Record says. It's like, he says, you never have a money problem, you have an idea problem.
A shortage of
ideas.
Money's just an idea.
Money's just an idea, right? And so it's like, some people are so scared of getting into debt they won't even take out a credit card. But yet, if they did, just to get all in, and they knew that's what they needed to do, but they didn't do it, they'd be holding themselves back. They'd still be stuck in the box of their financial reality that they're in because they're too scared to try something different and make a different decision, make a different choice that goes beyond where they're at right now. Is there a third step, or is that just like wham bam, like thank you ma'am, like that's the two-step process to getting the fuck out of your shitty financial reality? I mean,
people want to change, but they fear it.
Different choices. Was that right?
People want to change, but they fear it. So I mean, you're driving yourself in a loop there. If you don't make a decision, like you said,
comfortably uncomfortable. You know what I mean? You're comfortable with your uncomfort.
So with that said, if you're not all in, click the link below and get all in.
You're comfortable with your suffering.
But here's the other thing that I think is super important is people don't understand that they have the power that they've got. I find so many people don't really understand how powerful they really are uh, unless you sit down and kind of talk to them. And all it's very simple. I mean, just look around the room that you're in, right? Look around at, you know, look at a cup, look at anything in the room. Somebody created that. Someone created that. And so we are all capable of doing that, and people just don't kind of understand that. And so I think, you know, you have to commit to it, but you have to believe in it. You have to believe that you can make that happen. And it's kind of that simple. I mean, people struggle with small things and they forget about big things. They forget about looking around and saying, "Wow, you know, somebody did that. I can do that too." And I think it's just that simple. So
I think
anyway.
that's important. Thanks for saying that, John. I think that's important. And you know, there's that Marianne Williamson quote that's really long, and I can't remember all of it, but it's something about, you know, our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate, but it's that we're, you know, brighter and greater than we could ever imagine, something like that.
More powerful.
More powerful than we could even imagine. And you know, it's like we could go into, well, why don't people know how brilliant they are, and you know, all that stuff. And it's interesting because even like people like Tony Robbins and some other really heavy hitters in the industry of in self-development, like they came together like, why don't more people take action? Like, we just don't get it. Like, we do these massive amount of workshops, and only, you know, a small percentage of people, you know, 1%, 2% of people really take massive action with the tools that we give them. And I don't really have the answer why, but I do know that every moment you are given an opportunity, and if you're on this hangout right now, you're given an opportunity to step into your brilliance, to get a different reflection than maybe the reflection that you were given growing up. You know, maybe, you know, like you were saying, John, people just don't know that they can create, because maybe nobody ever told you, like, you can create something amazing. You can create something amazing right now, and it just starts with you, and it starts with, maybe it starts with an idea, maybe it starts with a question. For some people, it's a belief. Like, I don't think it's just a one-stop shop for everybody, but it can start right now just by you saying yes to what I'm saying right now. Like, do you want to create something magnificent with your life? And if that's a yes, you just say yes and let the universe show you, or God, or whatever you believe in. Like, it's like that's all it takes, is just the willingness to say yes to the, you know, doorways that are in front of you.
And then walk through them.
And then walk through them. But the first step is just to say yes. And I've even, you know, I love that you brought up beliefs, John, because I got to a point, and I mean, I did so many different kinds. I just did a lot of shamanic stuff, and you know, I spent 12 days meditating in a cave by myself in Costa Rica. And you know, there were just certain beliefs that no matter what, you know, I would try on a different modality onto this, you know, I just can't get over this one belief that I'm inherently not worthy, and that there's something wrong with me. No matter how much I meditate, how much I do, I just feel like there's still something wrong with me, and that I'm not worthy. And here's how I actually got past that. And I would love it. I would be delighted if even just one person got this tonight, and it could just change somebody's entire life course. Is that I started to ask the universe to invalidate my beliefs about myself. So when you can't go through the front door, you can ask the universe to come through the back door. So instead of obsessively trying to get over this belief, I just kind of ninja tricked myself and asked the universe, okay, that belief that I have that I'm not worthy, universe, can you show me, can you just invalidate that belief and show me something totally different? Now, the trick is when that stuff shows up, because it will, because asking you shall receive really works, you have to demand of yourself to receive it and to keep receiving it. So in a huge way, that came in the form of Abram and the relationship that we had. And it's almost like when we met, I had already done a lot of work, but I was like, wow, there's nothing wrong with me, because he didn't have the sense of wrongness of himself that a lot of people do, like that judging, beating myself up. And that reflection allowed me to see that in myself. And that was more than all the workshops and classes that I've ever did for me, that the dynamic that we had. So going back to what I said about abundance not being linear, it's like you ask the question, you think it's going to show up in a certain way, and you get frustrated, and then you say, it's not showing up, and then you stop the flow. Just allow yourself to be surprised. And then the other thing that I sort of mind tricked myself into is I said, well, what if, it's like, well, does a deer eat plants because it's worthy? Like, does a deer or an animal ever think, I don't know if I'm worthy enough to eat this tree or this shrub or this plant? It's just not natural. It's not in our nature. And even when people say, I'm going to say this, I think deservability is kind of an illusion. Because in order to say, well, you deserve that, you have to judge and put on a scale what that person did and what actions they took in order to have that. And that creates a separation between yourself and what you want. So it's like, and deservability. So what if you didn't have to deserve money to have money? What if having money is just a choice? Like, you wake up, do you deserve to brush your teeth in the morning? No, you just fucking brush your teeth.
Everybody else deserves to have you with brushed teeth.
Yeah, now that's, yeah, that's hilarious.
That's just, I mean, fun.
Yeah, but, it's like, what has money more significant than more of a mountain to climb than just brushing your teeth? And when I made it simpler and just kind of like, okay, what if I could play with money in that way? Like, it's just a choice. Like, so I'd wake up in the morning and say, I'm gonna have money today. I'm gonna create money. I'm gonna receive it in my life.
I'm choosing it.
I'm choosing it. And that way you'll stop. Because so many people have this worthiness thing. I'm not worthy, and it plagues people for their entire lifetimes. And it's like, well, when is it time to get over it? It's like, I just kind of went, let me bypass my beliefs and go straight to what I want. And I'm telling you, you can do it, and it works. And I just gave it to you.
Yeah, I think sometimes people, they just haven't been through that struggle where they've had to persevere so much to make it through whatever it is, that sometimes they just don't believe in themselves, or they don't know the power of their own mindset, and they don't see that they are stronger than they think they are. And you're right, it's a choice. Everything is a choice. We choose how to live. We choose whatever we're doing throughout the day. And if you want to choose to be rich, you can do that. And you guys are really driving that point across.
Yeah, and it's again, it all starts from within, and just saying that to yourself. And like you said, a lot of people don't know their strength. If you don't know it, ask for it. Like, a lot of times, all the teachings of ask and you shall receive, people just think about asking for things, intangible things, and that's all great. But you can also ask the universe for insights. Even in Think and Grow Rich, did you guys read Think and Grow Rich? There's a part in the book where he talks to, in his, it's like he almost has like a meditation.
It's his invisible counsel.
Yeah, he calls it his invisible counsel, where he imagines that he's talking to all these, wealthy people that he admires, and they talk back to him. He's actually sitting there having like an internal conversation with them, So it's like, I know I've done meditations where I've gone, well, what would David, and I'm not saying that like in this woo way, like, well, he talks back to me and we have like a long distance communication, I'm not.
Maybe we do.
Maybe we do, but like, what I think is probably more likely is that it's like your subconscious knows the resonance of that person and what they're capable with. We get so much when we listen to them. So it's almost like coming through the subconscious. It's like my subconscious in his voice. It's like you can ask for, and that's a more tangible way when I say ask for insights. But you can even just waking up in the morning, whatever, if you're doing like a gratitude ritual or whatever, or you're just waking up and you're in the shower, and you don't know what your next step is. You could just be like, huh, I wonder what my next step should be. Or universe, can you show me what my next step should be? Or, universe, can you show me my strength? Can you show me my brilliance? Like, those are things that I ask for too. Can you show me, my beauty, like my heart? Can you show me, who I really want to be? And, those are things that you can ask for too. And I highly, highly encourage that everybody listening here asks for that, because really that stuff at the end of the one's lifetime, when you look back on your life, what's going to matter more, or just as much as, I'm choosing to be rich. Like, I'm going 7 figures, 8 figures, and beyond in this lifetime, and I'm committed to doing that in a very holistic way. Yeah, in a very holistic way, meaning that it is not a compromise of myself, in my relationship with myself, and my relationship to my loved ones and my dog and everybody else that I get the privilege and the honor of working with. And that's also why I think Empower Network is the perfect medium for that, to begin that path. So if you're not in and you want that for yourself, just click the button below, get started with us. Because I've never seen anything like this anywhere else, where you can, look at us, we've been on stage, look at how we're kind of weird and out there. And they let people like us go on stage, you know what I mean? They let people with lightsabers go on stage, and they let they let Justin Renju go on stage. They let people from all kinds of backgrounds, no matter who they are, where they're coming from, go on stage and share their story, their message. And if you're here and you're getting maybe you have some tingles going on in your body, you know that your message needs to be heard and your story needs to be heard.
Your story is important, and other people need to hear it. They deserve to hear it.
Facebook questions. Does anyone have any specific Facebook marketing questions? Because like I said, we did a lot of stuff for free, mostly free.
We'll hit a few, and then we're gonna bounce because we just want to chill. It's chill here.
Yeah, I don't blame you guys. Hey, I just gotta say, man, I've watched a few of your videos, but just this Hangout live, it's seriously. Hands, if I had 5 hands, they wouldn't clap evenly, but I would give you a 5-hand.
Hard one out, just flailing.
Because here's what's great, man. I mean, you guys combine, income disclosure, obviously, and everything, but you guys have made over $300,000. Is that what you're saying?
Close to,
yeah.
We haven't hit.
Let's just say high 200 something. There's no ego though. You know what I mean? It's like you meet some people and they're just like, I'm this and I'm that, and this is why you should listen to me. You guys are just chill. I feel like I'm hanging out in a coffee shop with you guys, just talking about life, and it's just, I think that's. Let's just put it this way. This has probably been the most the deepest hangout we've ever done, because usually they're very technical. They're very and this is what you have to do, and this is your SEO, and then you keyword this, and then whereas this is just I don't know, man. This reminds me of my old apartment when me and my just the greatest think tanks ever, where it's just you get all these great minds together, and all of a sudden everybody's just brainstorming and kicking. And I don't know, I may be that one person, because I think a lot of what you guys are have just been talking about. I'm just and it's not even it's like breakthroughs. It's more bulldozer breakthroughs, where it's just just demolishing everything. And it's just all right, let's push through. But yeah, back to Facebook. There you go. You like that loop? So this is me, by the way, all day, every day. So back to Facebook. So this is what I'm curious about, because obviously you're only allowed X amount of friends and everything else. So it's just where do you besides outside of your friend group and stuff like that? I mean, I don't see you guys as super huge spammers of groups or anything like that or whatever. So it's when you do posts and when you do, because I've seen some of your videos and they've been shared by friends of friends or whatever. Is that how you guys are getting most of the leads and most of the quote unquote traffic, from that, or is it all just? Are you guys promoting posts, or because now this is where the technical aspect of me just kind of kicks in, where it's all right, let's backwards engineer this a little bit. Is it yeah? So I think that's kind of my question.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. We're really for authentic Facebook marketing, and super against the spammy bullshit that I don't know who's teaching it or who thinks it's a good idea, But the stuff that's like, hey, let's tag a bunch of people in our picture, whether it's got money in it or not, it's still weird. You know, whether it's I'm gonna put my company banner in the top of my Facebook, and then link. That's all that it is. Get in my business, like, no. And some people are getting results doing that. They can keep it. That's not how I want to build my business.
Yeah.
If it's not obvious already, like, we value a deep connection with people, right? And that's what Facebook and social media really are to us, is a vehicle to establish some level of a connection. Some connections are deeper than others, right? Some of them are fleeting. But ultimately, we fell in love with the idea and the capability of what Facebook can do for you. I mean, the fact that we came together through Facebook initially, I think says a lot. When you break it down to like what it is that we're doing, the only way that I can explain it is really in this. We've developed, like, Facebook allows you to scale your relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's some like scientific studies that are out that people, like, the maximum capacity of like real friends, whatever that means, that people can have, I think scientists are estimating like up to 150, right? People that you maintain regular contact with.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the high end, right? When you look at like your own personal life, though, how many people are you really, really talking to and hanging out with? Like, when I was in college, it was like, on the regular side of things, 5 or 6 people. You know, but I'd see like 20 to 50 on the weekend at this party or that party, or in class, or going to lunch or whatever. But that was it. But Facebook allows you to scale your relationships. It allows people to see into your life that wouldn't normally be able to, and you can see into theirs in a way that you weren't able to do it before. And so when you look at that, the value of that versus the value of somebody opting into your email list from somewhere, it's really like some random person, right? It's really, really different. Because on Facebook, they're connected to you every single day. They're getting your messages. If you're getting into their news feed, and we could talk about that too, but I'm sharing with you all this because it's all the formula for influence, right? Because if you don't have influence, nobody's going to pay attention to what you say anyway. Mm. And the reality is that nobody gives a shit about anybody except for themselves, especially when their needs aren't being met.
Right.
Most people are broke, struggling through financial issues or relationship issues, family issues, whatever it is. They're in their own thing, right? They're in their own thing. Like, we really weren't able to think about anybody outside of ourselves until we really started, like, breaking down this whole, like, financial thing, right? Once we started really clearing the money issues out and not having to think about it as much, that's when we were able to start thinking about other people. But before that, did we really give a damn? No, because we're to the next day.
Well, I was actually opposite of you. I mean, I did, but what that created is that I was like a martyr, and I was always there for other people, but not for myself, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So some people are doing that, but even in that, you're still actually in your own bubble, because you can't, like, see beyond that. Like, you can't be like, I remember when I learned the hierarchy of needs in, like, high school or grade school or whatever, I got so mad. Like, I was like, no, I'm going to go straight to the top. You know, like, there's the whole, like, you have to have your survival needs met before you're able to go to this need, before you're able to, you know, be the pinnacle of, you know, leadership or whatever. And I was like, I'm just going to skip over that stuff, you know. And I tried being, you know, I went to Japan to speak at a peace summit with, like, the Princess of Norway and what's his name, the water message, hidden messages in water. Masaru Emoto. Maybe some of you guys know who he is. He did a bunch of test tubes with. He was in The Secret, where they showed, like, the test tubes and the water said love and hate, and it showed different crystalline structures of the water based on the word. So it showed that it actually proved that, you know, our bodies are made up of water, like a certain percentage of water, and these molecules were influenced by the thoughts and the words that were being sent to them. So Mr. Emoto, he actually died kind of recently, like a few weeks ago, rest in peace. But he came up with this whole study, and it's like I was invited to be on stage with all of these leaders in Japan. I raised money to get there. This was in 2011, I think, 2010, and because I just so wanted to like help humanity, and it was about saving these dolphins. And I go, and one of the things that really struck me was like all of these emissaries and people who were traveling the world, like Eric Pearl and some of these other people, they were all wealthy, except for me. Like I could just tell, like their finances were handled, and here I was actually at the mercy of one of my friends who helped sponsor the trip, who was with me, hoping that she would pay for the next meal. And it's like I came back home to another negative balance and a shut-off notice for my electricity. I'm like, here I was, like, because a lot of spiritual people also get caught up in this trap where they're like, if you just give yourself over to like the divine essence of whatever that is or source, and you just put yourself on a mission, the universe will support you, and it's this fra-la-la kind of thing. And the message I got is I need to actually like learn how to create a business, learn how to make money, or I'm going to kill myself. Because it just seemed so unfair at that time that here I was giving away so much of my time, and I thought somehow I was going to magically, money was just going to fall into my bank account when I got back because I was giving so much. And that's where, it's like when it came down to it, going back to what Abram said, is all I could think about was me, because I was like ready to kill myself if this wasn't going to change, And here I was. I mean, I called Excel. I'm like, please, can you give me an extension? Because I've asked so many times before. And they're like, no, you've called so many times. Like, no more. We're cutting you off, And it's like I kind of had an addiction to poverty, And that's what I had to give up in order to get to where we are today. So Abram, I know that was kind of a side tangent, but you were saying
that's just how we roll. It's just
how we roll.
Well, that's the reason why you have to recognize when it comes to building a business for free on Facebook is that people are so in their own stuff.
Right. You
have to find a way to make it into their thought stream and literally into their feed, right? Their news feed, right? That's another stream too. So the thing that really kicked things off for us, and I promise we're going to get to a culmination here that will blow your mind if it hasn't already been blown. I took a concept from How to Win Friends and Influence People, which, by the way, is I think the best book that you could take and apply to your social media efforts, primarily Facebook. The chapter on 6 ways to make people like you or love you or something like that. And the first thing they talk about is taking interest in other people, like being sincerely interested. And so you have to recognize that it's a lot more work to try to be interesting and post interesting content than it is to just go be interested in other people. So Max, when you ask how are people finding your stuff, it's well, we're out communicating, chatting with other people on their turf. We're getting into their world, asking them questions, figuring out what's on your mind. Well, what do you think about that? You just said this. Well, what do you think about this? Actually asking other people questions and getting them talking about themselves, which I think is point number 4 or 5 inside of that section of How to Win Friends and Influence People. And so when I was doing that in 2010, when I first started getting online, that grew my friends list from 400 people to over 2,000 people in less than a year. I wasn't friending them, they were friending me. Because I was out there and I would go find somebody who was prominent in whatever I was passionate about, that space, and I would always be in their threads, commenting back with that person. Then people would see me, they'd want to friend me up, or they'd want to talk to me, they'd be interested, or I'd talk to somebody specifically in that thread. I'm always just engaging in conversation. Nikki does it really, really well too. And we don't crank leads, okay? But the reason that we don't need to
is you guys are super qualified leads. Right.
1 out of 8 people at one point that got on our list were getting into Empower. Because they're so into what we've been talking about and the fact that we took interest in them in some place. And I'm not talking about we're going and we're, coaxing the next person into our funnel. No, it's just like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Cool. Moving on. Somebody else's thread. And
So
at one point
commenting on their thread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at one point they see like, oh, what's this link on their page? Like, what's this about? Because we'll post a link to our capture pages every now and then, maybe every other day, every few days. And that's where people actually like get to see into our world of what's going on. Sales and money is not made on Facebook. Don't get that twisted either. People think that you can make money on Facebook. Hell no. You make the money off of Facebook. You make it on your blog. That's why Empower is great, right? You can click the button below and get a blog, right? You make it on the blog. You make it in your email follow-ups. You make it in the videos that you send to their inbox, like that kind of stuff. But Facebook keeps you top of mind. So taking those pieces together, when you look at like, I'm not even maxed out on my friends list. I got like 4,000 friends. I'm not even, like, I don't say, hey, what's up? Like, send me a message, Because I get so many of them now because we've been so all over the place, all over Facebook for a long time now, that, people they just find our stuff. And then the last piece that I'll add here that I think will kind of, bring some closure to it is that we're not networking with people that are into like network marketing, right, or internet marketing. Like that's included, right? Naturally, because we're in this space, we're going to attract a lot of people that are like that.
We've been on stage, so we talk to like empower people, but like we said, we didn't come from that background, so. But
we came from like the personal development, spiritual transformation background, right? Like that's what we get really excited about. That's why we can sit here and talk about it for hours. So we've been a part of Facebook groups and online forums and stuff like that for engaged, talking about subjects that we're passionate about, right? Guess what? When you do that, when you go take that thing that you're passionate about and you go engage with a group of people on social media about that on a very regular basis, that's where your competition is not.
Yeah, and actually, I'm just going to kind of add to that in a way that I think will make it even more tangible for people. So the last point that you made, recap that again? Yeah.
You engage with people that are in an area of passion for you.
Yes.
That's outside of like network marketing, internet marketing.
Okay, so this is why, because the network marketing space, the MLM space, it is more competitive. You're working with a smaller pond, and a lot of those people who have been, I've been in 8 other companies. Hey, we still sponsor people who have been in other companies, but guess what? A lot of those people were like, we were looking for something different. Like, we wanted to work with you guys because of who you are and what you stand for, because we don't want to become spammy marketers. So when you're willing to be different, for one thing, you stand out.
When you're willing to be you are different.
When you're just yourself, you are different actually. So I see this too much, and I think some of it is maybe, I don't want to call it laziness, but I think it's maybe a lot of unawareness. Is they'll join Empower and they'll just start posting screenshots of stuff, and it's like, imagine just knowing us for hearing us for the last hour, and that we've come from this background of self-development, and we attracted people. That's who we were hanging out with. Now imagine we join Empower, and the next day we start posting about make money online,
how to recruit more people into your business,
how to get 10 leads a day, how I made $3K on a Monday, and
who's excited?
Yeah. Disconnect. I just lost everybody that I have ever talked to. I just completely cut off my audience. So, while we didn't know as much about bridge marketing, the way we do now, it's like we just kind of started asking, well, how are we going to do this? and I think there's people here who would want to come with us. How can we bring them with us? And then it just came naturally, and we had to do different,
what do we need to say
yeah,
that they can actually hear
Exactly.
and understand?
exactly.
Like, what is it that's required of us to say to like relate to them? It's like if you try to go, to Czechoslovakia and you don't speak Czech. Is that the language Czech? I'm guessing they speak Czech or like Russian or something. I don't know, right? They speak a different language. They don't understand what you're talking about if you don't speak their language. You gotta speak their language.
Yeah.
I feel like I cut you off on accident.
No.
I got so excited.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
No, it's cool. But what you said about your passion, it's like, maybe you guys aren't as passionate about self-development and spirituality. Like, what is something that you're passionate about? Or what's something you can become passionate about? And don't just, how Abram and I met online and then took it offline. Like, I would say the majority of the people, I want to say the majority of the people that I friend on Facebook, it's really weird, but I just put it as my intention. Like, I want to attract amazing people into my life, and even empower people. I'm like, yeah, I'll accept that request, and then I meet them at an event, or it happens in some other magical way when I'm traveling or something like that. So, it's like, well, maybe you've always wanted to do martial arts and you've been putting it off, or you've been wanting to do dance and you've been putting it off. So start living a life that other people want to have and start sharing it. Even if you don't have a lot of money, we're so voyeuristic, like it or not, like we're just voyeuristic by nature. Like, some people are like, I don't want to see what you ate for dinner, and some people are like, oh my God, I want to see what you ate for dinner. It's like whatever you want to share, there's somebody that's going to love that. Whatever is authentically passionate to you. I don't share food very often, but when I cook something really fucking amazing, like I will put it on Facebook and I'll put a recipe on there. And you know what? There's actually somebody that joined because I put a recipe and then I talked about like, hey, I remember when I couldn't afford to buy organic food, and that really hurt, because I know there's a lot of pesticides and chemicals out there and GMOs right now, genetically engineered foods, and I didn't want to eat that, and this recipe that I shared is 100% organic. And then I had somebody that joined and said, oh my God, like that just spoke to me, like I'm so tired of eating crappy food because I can't afford the good stuff.
What do I need to do?
What do I need to do? I don't even know what your system is or what you do, but can I just join? Can I just get in? How do I get in? What is it? Give me something. Like they're at that point, they're just like, I've hit one of their core desires and maybe core pain points of what they're going through right now.
So it's like, for me, I'm like, I'm gonna go join some of the hiking meetups this next summer here in Boulder.
Right.
I'm gonna go hang out with people that are passionate about the same thing that I am, which is hiking. And it's not about going and getting sales, but I know that I'm gonna make some cool friends,
Right.
have some great experiences, and there is business to be had, because that's just what happens when you're passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Because people like to meet you. They like to meet you, and then they like to watch you on Facebook and be a voyeur in your life. Like, Abram and I actually went to a 4th of July party last year. And
At my parents' house.
Yeah, at his parents' house, and she had like the whole neighborhood over. It was like 100 people, and like we walk up to I admit that like I have a little bit of a habit with sometimes showing up late, and so we show up late, and like everyone turns and just like looks at us, and like there's whispers, and they look at us, and we actually thought like, is something going on? Like, is it like?
Do I have poop on my face?
This,
like
what? Like this weird vibe. Weird vibe.
Is my haircut bad?
Yeah.
Over here.
And then like about half an hour later, one by one we had people coming up to us and like, hey, I've been watching you on Facebook. Like, congratulations on all your success. So they were actually like, they all of them, people that I have never seen. I don't know who they are. I don't know their names. Watching us on
Never comment, never like.
Never comment or like.
Totally voyeurs.
Totally voyeurs. And maybe intimidated and feeling a little weird because they're like, I've been stalking you and now like I know all this stuff about you and what do I, but like and maybe a little bit intimidated. It was just like, whoa, like I'm meeting these like celebrities on Facebook or something.
That's how they see you.
That's how they see you, you know, and that is actually, that is influence as well, you know. So, you know, this is another thing to really be aware of in your marketing, is that there are way more people watching you. Like if you start to create quality content, which again is based on being interested, and even if you don't go around, we're not saying spend 8 hours on Facebook and comment on everybody's stuff. You know, scroll down your feed and see what pops at you and what you're genuinely interested that someone else is posting.
Jump in a conversation.
You know, give yourself a schedule. Like, I'm going to do this for 30 minutes today. You know, yeah.
So what do you guys think about basically kind of influencing your own teams to kind of work together and share each other's content? Because lately I was kind of looking at this hashtag. It's called Share for Share. I don't know if you've heard of that one, S for S. And it's basically whenever anybody on our team shares their blog post, you know, we all like, comment on it, and then share it as well. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
That's cool, but then when you look at what everybody else is looking at from the outside looking in, they're like, why are all the same people always commenting on Josh's stuff? That's weird.
Yeah, like that's the
Right.
kind of on top of it.
That's the dark side of it.
Because we had some people on our team do that, where they started like a thread on Facebook. There were probably about 50 of them helping each other out that way. And like at first it was really cool. Like Abram said, you know, the first week it was cool, and then by the second week it was like, I don't know. There's also like a weird thing, and I'm not saying this is the way it is for everybody. I mean, I know there's been some cool sharing kind of co-ops, but I know that there was a little bit of like it started to become like a chore for people, you know, and then they started creating more. It's like exchanging from a place of obligation. So like, you know, oh, I commented on yours, you commented on mine, and all this like expectation stuff, like give and take and expectation. And so, you know, the comments degraded in quality as time went on. You know, within a month it was like, great stuff. You know, like there wasn't like it wasn't authentic engagement. It's like manufactured engagement. So, you know, I think it's a slippery slope with that one. You know, it could possibly work if somebody's like, I've got 100 friends and like 0 engagement. Like, it could kind of maybe start to create some flow for them. It could be a good mental boost, but I think it's very temporary, and it's definitely not a long-term kind of strategy.
I mean, the real answer is get out there and network, and people will come and want to comment on your stuff anyway.
Be active with your, like, that's the thing, like, influencing your team. Be active with your team. Be, you know, I think it depends what role you're in too. Like, as far as like, you know, if you created your own team and they're all in your downline, versus like, hey, if you guys are a team, like, I know for me, like, when I see one of my team members and like they just lost a bunch of weight, I'm gonna authentically congratulate them on losing that weight. And it has nothing to do with trying to get, you know, likes and comments and stuff like that. So, and then they want to come back and be like, oh, what's going on with Nikki? And they're going to want to come back and comment on my stuff.
You can try to game the system, but the system will always be 1 or 10 steps ahead of you.
Right. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. We were gonna try and do it for like almost like our own 21-day blogging challenge, and during just that time, we were gonna be sharing kind of each other's posts, just to kind of stay relevant and keep our post, I guess, at the top of the news feed. I don't know if that really, I guess, does that in a sense, but what you guys are saying, it makes a lot of sense. So
yeah, and just having that conversation is an attempt at gaming the system.
Right.
Right. Facebook's algorithms are getting so good now.
Right.
You can't fake it. Right. Facebook's gonna be like, the same people are commenting and sharing all the time. Penalty. Down at the bottom. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same thing with Google too. You know what I mean? It's like algorithms are becoming so good that when you really tap into the core and what drives Facebook's engine is a couple of things, right? What is Facebook's number one objective? Keep you on Facebook as long as possible so that it can serve you more ads that are closely related to the stuff that you might click on so that they can make some money at the end of the day, right? That's their objective. They want to keep you there as long as possible. So to do that, they're going to serve you the best content they possibly can based off of your behavior and the way that you use Facebook, right? So if you game the system, you're going to find your circle of things that show up on the newsfeed to be very, very small. Versus if you actually approach it in a way that is authentic to the way that you would normally operate if you went to a party or you saw a friend out at the cafe, you know, hey, what's up? Then Facebook becomes that place where it's not only serving you the best content, but it's going to serve your friends the best content, which is hopefully yours. Right? It's like when you really understand your friends and like the way that we've built, I think this will probably put a cap on it. Maybe if there's one more question, that'd be cool, and then we'll probably bounce. But when you build your network in a way that's close to your heart, and you're connected to people that are interested in a lot of the same things that you are, it's always easy to have a conversation, right? It's like when you have your best friends around you, it's always easy to have a conversation. You never run out of things to talk about, right? Never. You can create that with Facebook too, but it's all based off of connecting to people that are into the same things, that are willing to connect with you the same way. Like, I'll be honest, I get Facebook requests sometimes from people, and I go on their wall, and I'm like, damn, they haven't posted in like 10 days. You can watch and be a follower of mine, but I don't choose to be a friend of yours because I'm not interested in seeing your feed. I'm interested in having people that are in my network that are connecting and interested in connecting and relating as much as I am. So at the end of the day, I have a network of 4,000 people, and hey, I am perfect. I have connected with a lot of people that I probably shouldn't have. They're taking up space, you know. But at the end of the day, my objective is to have a bunch of people that are going to interact as much as I am, which builds a more rich experience in my own newsfeed and in their newsfeed too. And it all just flows, because when you connect with the right people, no matter what you say, it could be the foodie pick, you know, it could be the random ramblings of your day. Like, your audience will connect with that because you connected with the right audience when you were getting started anyway.
I think one of the things that I could sort of hear people thinking is like, but you know, as far as like the temptation to want to do this, like, comment on each other's stuff, but I think it works when you just get 3 likes, you know, or 1 like. I get it, you know, or there's no comment, and you assume nobody's clicking, nobody's seeing it, and it's not great, you know, when you've got just a few likes. So it's like, if you want to build your network without taking up like a massive amount of your time, where you're like people who like the 4-hour work week, and you're just friending like that, I would go nuts trying to do something like that. And rather than spamming all the groups, you know, and being like, there's like a marketing group, and every day I get a notification from somebody, I'm just going to say it, somebody in Empower, you guys, come on, like, being like, here's my new blog, or here's this hangout, or
and then you get a notification, boom, 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 boom,
yeah.
And they went and spammed it in like 10 groups.
Yeah, and it's like, and that actually doesn't even help you get much more traction, because a lot of those groups that have turned into spamming groups, the only people who are there are the spammers.
Everybody's yelling at each other. Nobody's listening.
Yeah, because all the people that want authentic communication have left. So it's all the same kind of, you know, the same spammy. Like Abram was saying, everybody's just like, la, 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 la. It's like 20 commercials on loudspeaker playing all at once. You can't actually hear anything. So you know, before I said, go take a dance class or something you're passionate about, you want to do that anyway, because you want to create, again, abundance is not just about money, it's a state of being. So you want to start doing that, and don't use money as an excuse. I mean, find something on Living Social where they're like, take 10 yoga classes for $25, you know, or what's the other one with the G? Or
Groupon.
Groupon, you know, go find something on Groupon and start creating your life as an adventure. And then the other thing is like, you know, there's also like find something like maybe a class. This is just a tip, okay? Maybe a course from somebody that has a big following. And take that, and they're going to have a Facebook mastermind or something like that. Do not post your links in those groups. Do not market in those groups. Start conversations. So if you're taking a class from like Marie Forleo or like somebody who's a heavy hitter, or like, you know, 21-day, you know, meditation challenge with Oprah, and you're in like a, you know, it's got a few thousand people in it. Just, and it's an engaged group. Just start talking to people. Just start talking to people. Now, if they go back to your Facebook page and it's going to be like, here's my screenshot of me, I made $100 today. Like, they're going to be like, whoa, that person has an alternative agenda, you know? So make it congruent. Like, don't sign up for some course because it's Oprah and you think you're going to get lots of people looking at you, because that's not target marketing. You have to be targeted with this. And have it be in sync with you and everything that you're passionate about or want to be passionate about, what you're curious about. I actually love what Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, said about passion. She says so many people get lost trying to find their passion and their purpose, and what resonates with me is actually just being infinitely curious. If you can just be insatiate, like just infinitely curious every single day, like you'll never go wrong. Because not everybody has that path of like the one passion, like, I'm going to play basketball, you know, so just be curious and let that guide you. It's like, I don't care if like the guru of fishing, fly fishing has a 30,000 person group. I ain't going to go talk to those people because I don't give a shit about fly fishing, you know, with all due respect, you know, but if I knew somebody in my team that was all into fly fishing, I'd be like, go join this group and talk to these people.
Go fish in that pond.
And they're going to friend you, and they're going to want to, you know what they're just going to start stalking your page, you know, and then you have to find a way to incorporate your passion of fly fishing into your blogs, into, you know, how you're inviting people to come and check out your opportunity.
If you wanted to target more than one niche, would you recommend to do a Facebook page for each one?
No.
That was great.
Not working on one, it is not going to work on 6. And we're actually just talking about personal Facebook profiles right now,
We're not talking about fan pages, because that gets into paid marketing, guys, you know, and we're sticking to free right now. You know, if you're going to have a fan page, like we're going to have a fan page for our dog, like.
For
That's
fun.
what I meant fan pages, not actual Facebook.
No, I get you, and I was still saying no, too.
Yeah, I would say no because, you know, it's like if you haven't made money yet, you don't need to be, you know.
Fan paging anything.
Focus on one thing.
And when it comes to a business that's in the network marketing industry, people are joining people, not companies. You know, people, not fan pages.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to sort of like leave things off here too, and then if you guys have closing thoughts, that's cool. I have 3 books and 3 resources that I think anybody watching and you guys would benefit too in helping you create greater results with social media and Facebook specifically. First one I already talked about. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Mm-hmm. Right? That book will actually teach you how to be a cool person. Right? Or as like Dave Sharp would say, it'll teach you how to be a cool mofo. Right? I mean, seriously, what drives the engine of Facebook is people. You gotta learn how to be a person on Facebook, because sometimes people get on Facebook and they just start acting weird
and like
and different. Like, there's no fucking difference between what we're having a conversation about right now and what we can transfer onto a social platform.
Or they like airbrush their photo, and it's like
drives me nuts.
And you can't recognize them when you see them in person. Like, you're like, whoa. They're like, well, yeah, you see me every day.
I go to an event, they're like, do you know me? I'm so and so. I'm like, and then I look up my phone later, and I'm like, damn, that picture's from 6 years ago. You know what I mean? So anyway, but yeah, how to win friends and influence people, right? Just follow the stuff and it'll teach you how to be human, right? Teach you how to be human, and how to really connect with people. Second one is, I think I got it right here.
What is it?
Had to interrupt.
He's like in the closet right now.
So you guys basically like market without really marketing, more or less. You know what I mean? It's just really just connecting with people. Because
I think that that's really what marketing is. The essence of marketing is connecting with people's desires. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's but yeah, it's like marketing without people knowing that we're really marketing. They don't feel like they're being sold to because people have so many barriers to being sold to. It's like what Aaron Rashkin says: removing the resistance and increasing.
We're reducing the tension, increasing the cooperation.
Right. No, but it's like Bruce Lee and like Enter the Dragon. He's like, "What do you study?" He's like, "I studied the art of fighting without fighting." You know what I mean? Like you guys have basically mastered the art of like marketing without technically marketing. You know, in a sense, because
Yeah, totally. And you know, on that point, you know, even David Wood has looked at our Facebook last year, and he was like, "What
right.
are you guys doing?"
Because it's not results, and it's not because while we're doing this, and Abram, you are full on your friends because I just friend requested you and said you're not taking any more friends. But Nikki, I did shoot you a friend request. Or I don't know, maybe you just have so many friend requests, you whatever. But basically, yeah, it's more or less like it's not a bunch of results or anything like that. And it's not like, hey, I just made this much money and you know whatever. You guys are just basically just speaking like what you're grateful for, what you're thankful for. You know what I mean? Like thoughts, and that's awesome. I mean, it just in all actuality, because it's refreshing. You know what I mean? Because I believe in the industry in and of itself, there's just like this inundation of just like bad marketing in a sense that you're just like surrounded with, and it's almost like you've got to put up like a force field around yourself just to kind of like not get caught up in the okay. So you know what I mean? Like it's. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's like you basically like block it all out because it's like there's all these people like, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and join me now and this, you know what I mean? Or get excited, you know what I mean? Or just whatever. Or let me tell you about this great thing that I just joined, and every week it's somebody new or sometimes the same people just doing the same thing over and over again, just with a different company, and you're just like, dude, how do you even get results with this? You know what I mean? And then talk and just this once again, this is like mind blown because it's you guys are just you.
Yeah.
I think in and of itself, like that's just pure. You know what I mean? That's just real pure refreshment. You know, it's true though. You know what I mean? It's like pure refreshment. Just like you can just be yourself and not just make money, but like thrive.
Yes.
Being yourself, because there's a difference between just making money, there's a difference between just getting by, there's a difference between just paying your bills, and then there's abundance, there's living, and then there's like living abundantly, just because you can, you know, whether you're teaching people to be themselves or you're just leading by example of just like, dude, I'm just myself, and yeah, by the way, I've made almost $300,000. That's badass. Props.
Well, and Max, thanks for saying that. I love it. I'm like, I don't even have to say it. Like, you're so in tune with just our energy and what we're putting out, because we you know, that is some of the things that we talk about with our team is being authentic, be yourself. And you know, we have some team members that, you know, a couple of them even left in power. But what happened was that they learned so much in the system and that some of the marketing tools, but with our message of like being themselves, and they're like 6-figure coaches now, traveling the world, you know, like that kind of thing. And I do want to just make one thing clear for the record, is that in the beginning we did speak more about our results. Like, oh, we had a $3,000 day. Like before we made 6 figures, we spoke more about our results, but it was still more like, you know,
minor though, right?
Yeah, it was like, you know, the book Jab Jab.
That's number 2.
Oh shit.
So I couldn't find the book.
Oh.
I couldn't find the book. I think I gave the copy away to a friend recently.
Okay.
This is our second piece of
That's what I'm talking about.
fun stuff. And Nikki's is the book Jab 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 Right Hook. Anybody own Jab 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 Right Hook? So it's a great book, and this is what Nikki's talking about.
Yeah.
So what you were going to say is
that we So the concept of jab, 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 right hook is like in boxing. Most of the time, the boxer's making jabs, and then they make the right hook. You know,
The jab is just getting them position,
getting them
warming them
position.
up, finding the weaknesses, whatever it is.
and then comes the punch.
Boom!
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I feel like men would like that metaphor more. Like women are kind of like, I don't know if I want to be punched. Like, what is that? But anyway, it's like, you know, that's kind of like his metaphor for marketing, is that you jab more than you throw a punch. And when people are spamming is when they're throwing punches all the time. And it's like, boom, boom, boom in your face, you know, and they're like, well, I just want a little tap. You know, I just want to get tapped and maybe jabbed a little bit, you know what I mean, before I have this big thing in my face, you know? So I don't know what else I was saying with that, but
I think
yeah.
I think you nailed it. You were talking about when we were sharing our results initially.
Oh yeah, like you're saying, Max, it was so small, a drop in the bucket in proportion to all the other value that we were sharing. And not only that, but because we didn't want to be like I don't want to say like everybody else, but a lot of people who are just like, I'm just gonna share the straight shot from back office, which I'm not saying we never did. We did do it sometimes, but we would pair it with maybe like, it would be here, and then we'd do like another photo of like, we were actually in the shower when this happened. And there's like a picture of us not showing, you know, it's like from my cleavage up, you know, and you could tell that we're like naked, and we're like, have you ever made $3,000 in the shower, you know? And we just got creative with it. We got creative, we got playful, we got curious, we stayed curious. And when we talked about income, for the most part, and especially for my audience, like, I needed to frame it in a different way. I never said make money online. Like, those words never came out of my mouth. You know, it was all framed around, because here's the thing, your low-hanging fruit are people like you. So what are your pain points? What are the things that you desired when you struggle? So speak to that more. You know, like, I got a lot of hippie friends, they want to eat organic food all the time.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to speak to that. You know. And when I speak about income, sometimes I might talk about that. I actually had one person or a couple people join because I couldn't afford even getting like a winter jacket for myself for like years. Like, I had hand-me-downs, and I finally got like a nice white jacket from North Face, and I made a video about it. And somebody that like, they were like, wow, you know, like, and so that to me is like, I was sharing my results without actually like flashing my back, and like, look at my white coat that I have, and like, this is what it means to me to have this. This is why I'm so grateful for this. And you know, instead of like, now imagine if I shared that same white coat where I just took a picture of like the jacket with like the tag on it and how much it costs. And I'm like, boom, look at my jacket. You want a jacket like this? Click the link below. If you're smart and not stupid, you're going to join. Like, that is just not classy, my friends.
Well, and just to build off of what you thought, I think to close this point, is Max is losing it. I love it. It's like, okay, we've got products in Empower Network that pay you over $1,000 in commissions, right? You know, we just changed the model a little bit, so now there's only like one that pays you over $1,000, right? But back in the day, you know, we were selling stuff for like $1,000, $3,000, right? And we've had over 100 different days where we've made over $1,000 in a day. So wouldn't it be like really nauseating, annoying, and just flat out lame
An amateur
if every single time that it happened we're like, made $1,000 today, made $1,000 today?
Yeah.
It's annoying. So what we have done instead is like, we'll share like a milestone, right?
Like, we shared a quarter.
Your biggest day ever. I just crossed this. And then it makes those moments special, right? They actually stick out. Because if you do it the other way, everything just blends in, and when you do have a milestone, who's going to be cheering for you? Maybe a lot of people, maybe not, but I know that I just tune those mofos out. When I go on the news feed, I'm like, oh, another screenshot. Oh,
I don't even
look at them anymore. Yeah. I don't even care. It's not interesting. Does it lift me up? Does it make me want to come back to Facebook to see more screenshots? No. No, it doesn't. Eventually, they're going to get filtered out of other people's news feeds too, because people just don't care. They don't care. They care a little bit. and then they're like worn out and they want to be entertained by something new.
Mm-hmm.
So first book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Second book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. Learn the art of actually building on social media. Now that you know how to become a person on social media, how to win friends, learn how to translate that into social media with Jab, 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 Right Hook. And then don't forget to be more consistent than you've ever been in your life. And that's why I recommend The Slight Edge. Anybody read The Slight Edge? Hands? Oh my lord. Okay.
So you're gonna
Dude, I listened to the audio like years ago when I was in like prepaid. I listened to it like I don't know how many times, but yeah, it's a great book because you're like I had no idea like these small things. First, like it's nothing, but then it adds up and up and up to the point where you're like, holy shit, how do I change it around? And then you're gonna start over again something different.
Max's head. I'm worried for him when he reads this book because
I'm excited.
it might explode. It might explode. You know, Slight Edge really taught me that the biggest goals that I have in life. So maybe it's to become a master at Facebook, right? The biggest goals that I have in life are actually much easier than I think they are. Because what happens is you look at like that target, and it seems so far off in the distance, right? And you're like, how do I bridge that gap? The Slight Edge made me realize that gap is not that big, and that it's really not that hard to bridge the gap if I just do a few little things every single day. And he goes into like really great detail in different ways of what that really means, but it really got me pumped up to actually be consistent and take the action that I knew was required, but I never had the inspiration to take, if that makes sense. So what this does is it'll bring you to a place where if you do want to become a master at Facebook marketing, like Nikki and I don't think we're masters, but I think we're pretty good and getting better, right? Still on the path to mastery. If there's something that you want to get really, really good at, pick up the Slight Edge and pair it with whatever strategy or thing that you're working on, and you will become the best in the world if you so desire it. Those are my 3 recommendations for how to become the master of Facebook in terms of filling your mind with the right stuff, to put you on the path to success. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No.
So we're good. Zeus is good. He has to pee.
No, he peed before I brought him up.
Oh, he did. You let him out. That's good. I was like, man, little guy's squirming a lot. He's probably got to
He just wants
go.
to hang.
He doesn't. Like the energy's cool here. You know.
No, this was awesome, you guys. Really appreciate you guys spending the time and sharing your thoughts, because that's what this business is all about. It truly is. It's all about mindset and belief systems. And so that was awesome. Really, really, really cool stuff. So appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. I've actually been reading the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. I met him out at New Orleans at a Hilton event, and he really droned in on how you need to surround yourself with successful people and like-minded people that are headed in the same direction as you, so that you can learn from them as well and move on. So we really appreciate your time and coming out here.
You're welcome. It's fun. It's fun to, hey, when you're having a good time sharing something that you're passionate about, it's easy.
And time just kind of flies by.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was by far like so left field from what we normally do, but fuck, man, I'm so happy to like just to sit through this. You guys are awesome. You guys deserve everything you got. You deserve to, you know, get those $1 million rings and everything else. And I'm fired up, man. You know what I'm saying? I think this is going to be a night of blogging. Yeah, this is going to be some like real mind-blowing, like just like next level shit. And seriously, guys, I really, really supremely appreciate you guys just like jumping on with us and sharing all this just knowledge bombs. You know what I mean? Just information, which isn't. It's like right there. It's like see the forest for the trees. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
You said it, brother. I love it.
Yeah, and you know, just shoot me a message if you really want to connect, and I will. I'll send you. You know, Max and whoever. I didn't know that it said that I'm maxed out or whatever.
That's
I
weird.
think I have too many pending.
Maybe.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
So, but we love
Everybody wants to be your friend, bro. It's because you're real. You know what I mean? People want to connect with real people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like I think it's up to everybody here, everybody watching to share this hangout, share this information with other people, because it felt good delivering it, and whenever it feels good like that, that it's going to benefit other people, and I think that's like the best thing that we can do as a group to change the world. You know what I mean? So cool, guys. Well, thank you, and we're gonna take off, and thanks for having us out. Appreciate you guys, and let's go crush.
Yeah.
Right?
Guys, that was awesome. You guys are I'm totally gotta change my market again with the way you guys told me that. But again, yeah, thanks so much for coming on. You guys rock. I was glad to meet you guys back in Orlando and in Charlotte, and then prior to that in Miami. But again, thank you. This is awesome. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite, Matt.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you.
See you guys.
Have a good night.
Yep, you too.
All right, we're still alive. John, did you say you want to you had some like announcement or a couple announcements?
Yeah. So here's kind of what's amazing is about that whole conversation is that they talked about a lot of things that we talked about this weekend, and one of those was clarity, and I also talked about just the fact that people don't really understand how powerful they are, but you really need to understand where you're going, what your intention is, what you're trying to get out of this, and what you're trying to achieve. And the other thing is that those guys kind of touched on this a little bit, but this was another concept that they talked about this weekend, and that is if you're not in a position or if you're not in a place that you really like to be right now today, create an image, kind of create a best friend of yourself that would be the type of person that you want to be in the future, and then look at everything through the lens of that person. So if you're not in the place that you want to be, create that person so that subconsciously you can start to absorb and understand what that person, what that best friend of yours who looks like the person you want to be is starting to feel and think, and the things that they're trying to achieve. So that was one of the things that they talked about. But the biggest thing is that it starts with you. Everything that you do begins with you, and you have to understand that it's your responsibility to take control of your actions and the things that you want to accomplish. And so I really encourage everybody to kind of start thinking about things from a much different perspective and think about things from a much bigger perspective, because and we'll start sharing some more of this stuff with the team as time goes on, but man, I'm telling you, there is a whole nother world out there. There's a whole nother level or 2 or 3 or 10 beyond what you think is possible. There are people out there in the world today that are making megabucks, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars that you've never ever heard of before. And so that's possible, but it's only possible if you get your mind right. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share. But anyway, and there's one other thing. So and I'll let you guys kind of finish this off, but I want to make everyone aware of a great opportunity. So down below, if you're watching this video and you're not part of our community, obviously you can see that the kind of value that we bring to this community, but there's a unique opportunity right now. If you get involved in our community today, you basically have the opportunity to get about $10,000 worth of product and digital training for 60% off. So you guys need to take advantage of that opportunity today, because it's only going to be there. It may only be there for another couple days, a week. I don't know. They haven't told us exactly, but it's not going to be for very long. I just want to tell you guys, There is tremendous value in what's out there available to you today, but you have to take advantage of that today. So be sure and click the link below and jump on that opportunity. So that's what I got for tonight.
Awesome. Rob, any last words before we cut this out? It's been like 2 hours.
Yeah, but a lot of good information. I've personally had a couple good breakthroughs with the information that they were giving us, and I got a bunch of notes here too. But ultimately, it really all does start in the mindset of the individual. Like John was saying, you have a responsibility to make those changes and create that person and that successful person that it's possible to be. So just do what you need to do on a daily basis, and you can get there. So as far as I'm concerned, that was a badass hangout, and I can't wait for the next one.
Awesome.
For real.
What?
For real.
Definitely. That
That was like fucking whoa. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
God.
We all had a lot of thinking and changing up to do here. But tonight, folks, that's all we got. We'll be back again next week, 10 p.m. In the meantime, click the button below, get in the black, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.